Good morning, Ride On people. So you join me on a Saturday morning. Still dark, be light in the next few minutes, no doubt. And good opportunity for me to see how the DJI Osmo 4 does in the dark. I haven't used it in the dark before. It's still a relatively new camera for me, although they've just brought out the DJI Osmo 5, which I would recommend getting, as it can pair to two DJI MkII headsets, microphones, at the same time, which is a real worthwhile USP. And of course, you're always buying tomorrow's technology today, but technology moves on, so I can't grumble that I've just bought the 4 when the 5's come out, because sooner or later the 6 will be out, etc. Anyway, it's pretty chilly this morning. I'm riding down by the river. Chattahoochee's off to my left, and it's only about 50 degrees, but in good old Georgia style, it's going to be blue skies, sunshine, and probably high 70s by the time I get home this afternoon. So it's always a conundrum what to wear, but I've got the panniers, the soft fabric SW Motec Pro Blaze panniers on the back of the bike, so at least I can carry additional clothing as required. And what we're doing today? We're doing a ride out today to one of our favourite barbecue spots, Jim's Smoking Q, best barbecue in Georgia in my opinion, up in Blairsville. I'm meeting some of the crew. There's about 9 or 10 of us on the ride today. I'm just on my way to meet Charlie and Doug for breakfast. Charlie will be on his GSA, Doug will probably be on the Aprilia RS660 today, because we've got a nice twisty route. I have to be careful along here because there's a lot of deer, so I'm keeping my speed down deliberately while I'm talking and concentrating on those. Anyway, I've been in Italy having fun last couple of weeks. I'm probably not going to post a video about that, but I did go to Bologna, to the Ducati factory, and have a look at some of the latest bikes, including the new Panigale V4S, which is just unbelievably sexy, that thing. And that was pretty nice, fun. I also went to Enzo Ferrari's museum in Modena, and if you're ever close to Modena, I would highly recommend that. It's a very classy museum built at his home that he owned in his 20s, that he actually sold to fund his racing career. But it's a beautiful house, beautiful museum, and just very tastefully done, including some screenshots and music by Pavarotti, who was also a Modena Parisian, as it were. Anywho, Italy was fun. My bike, my GS, is still in the dealers, having let me down on the little Switzerland trip. Had the starter relay recall done, and we're now waiting on a starter switchgear cluster housing to replace it, just for a bit of extra peace of mind. And I hope that will be the end of the woes with my bike, but it's still at the dealership at the moment. So fortunately I have my trusty Street Triple RS, never misses a beat, to ride today. And we've got some twisty roads, so I would be on this bike anyway. It's just such a fun bike. It's just a perfect road bike, really, in my humble opinion. What else can I tell you? Well, the big news and kind of sad news is that Jerry, Mr. Brooks, who is a very long time friend and long time rider with the Ride On group, founding member, as it were. He had quite a nasty accident on his 2024 R1300 GS option 719. Fortunately, he's going to be absolutely fine, but it was quite serious. It was He was on his own up in the mountains, having ridden with friends. He was on his way home, and doesn't quite know what happened in the accident because he lost consciousness, and unfortunately the bike is totaled. And in terms of injuries, he has 5 or 6 broken ribs, a broken collarbone, and he also had to have spinal surgery, and they've kind of fused 2 or 3 of his plates in his back as a result of the injuries. And unfortunately his helmet came off, which was a surprise to everybody, not least Jerry. And he can only think that either he forgot to do it up or it just wasn't tight enough. So that's a lesson to remember for everybody. Make sure your helmet's off. Fortunately, he has no serious head injuries. He has a couple of bruises and did have to have a couple of stitches. And he was knocked out in the crash, and unfortunately can't remember any of it, and there were no witnesses. I know Jerry's far too good a rider to have made a mistake, and yeah, I know anybody can make a mistake, right? But you know, I don't know how to put it in an analogy really. I've not fallen off a bike for nearly 40 years, having dropped one at a standstill for 40 years, and Jerry's up there with me in terms of riding ability. So it's not like hit a brick in the road or some bumpy pavement and sent him wayward and he slipped off the bike. That's just not Jerry. The conditions were perfect, dry, sunny, grippy roads, no fallen leaves, no oil spills that we're aware of, anything like that. So I have to think something happened, like he hit a small animal. There's often, small deer and dogs running around in the mountains, and often they appear out of nowhere at the very last second. Sometimes you don't even see them at all, and somebody says, "Wow, that was close," and you say, "What?" And you say, "You nearly hit a deer there. They ran out just behind your bike." So I have to assume it's something like that, and one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is for general awareness, for 2 reasons. One, always ensure that when you put your helmet on, the very first thing you do is do up your chin strap, and you do it up to the correct tightness. I don't just mean, you put your helmet on, do your other things, and then the last thing you always do is tighten your chin strap. Make it the first thing as soon as you put on your helmet. And the second thing is, we've talked a lot in the last year or so about the latest technology in airbag vests, and fortunately Jerry was wearing an Alpine Stars Tech Air 5, which has already saved him once off-road in a low-speed crash, and it deployed, and he sent it back and had it repacked, regassed. But he was actually wearing his airbag vest, and considering he still required surgery, and we also have another mutual friend who was hit by another bike head-on, and his airbag deployed, and he also chipped bones in his vertebrae. It really shows the value of having an airbag, because without that, both of them may not be walking. Simple as that. Let's not sugarcoat it. They may not be walking today if it weren't for the fact they were wearing airbag vests. So you can D30 armour all you like, and please do. I hate seeing people just running around in lightweight jackets with no armour, or worse still, a t-shirt. But there's no excuses for not wearing quality body armour like D30 these days. It's dirt cheap, very cheap insurance. But also, how much is your life worth? Wear a quality crash helmet, and wear a quality airbag vest on the road. If you ride a sports bike and do track days, I'd recommend the Tech Air 7. If you ride a naked or upright bike on the road, I would suggest getting the Tech Air 5. And if you've not updated your helmet in a while, again, I would certainly suggest that you look at doing so and get one that is quality from a quality manufacturer such as Arai, Shui, Schubert, AGV, and preferably get something light and strong like a full carbon fibre construction. Yeah, I know they're not cheap, they hurt, but they're worthwhile. And finally, consider what to do, particularly if you ride alone, in terms of emergency. So Jerry was off in the woods. Nobody would have seen him. He could have easily died there and then in the woods, and nobody would have known, were it not for two things. Firstly, this 2024 BMW R1300 GS has an SOS button, and it recognises when the bike has been crashed, and it automatically calls the emergency services for you. Secondly, oh, nice lucid air. Secondly, he was wearing an iWatch, an Apple iWatch, and the Apple iWatch, if you have your contacts listed in the Health app, will automatically alert anybody listed as a contact in emergency contact if it detects you've fallen and you're not moving. So in this instance, it instantly called a few friends, his wife, and the emergency services. And if you think that's a bit overkill, let me tell you this: Jerry didn't gain consciousness until they were loading him physically in the ambulance. So that's quite a while, right? Because he was out in the sticks. It would have taken a while to get the emergency services up to him, and all that time was not wasted because it instantly alerted the emergency services, and an ambulance and a GA state trooper turned up at the scene because it geotags and tells the emergency service people exactly where he is. So they literally stopped at the side of the road, found him in the woods, picked him up, put him on a stretcher, and got him the urgent care that he needed. Food for thought, isn't it? I come back from Italy and I just happened chance to have an iWatch 10 Ultra 2 GPS iWatch sitting on my desk at home. My cat sitter brought it in for me, and I really winced when I bought it. I got a fancy Dan titanium Milanese wristband with it, and it, with the taxes to the door, it's the best part of $1,000. And I thought, geez, that's a lot of money. I'm not a watch collector or anything, but maybe cheap insurance, right? Particularly if you ride on your own. So think about it. Sure, a top quality carbon helmet might be $1,600. A top iWatch, might cost you the best part of $1,000. The same goes for an airbag vest. But believe me, that's the best $3,500 you've ever spent if you end up in Jerry's situation. I know you wouldn't hesitate to, go out and buy them again. All right, going to sign off now. Sorry, it's a little bit morbid, this one, but some good lessons learnt there, and I know you'll all wish Jerry well. We all love him to bits. Can't wait for you to be back out riding with us again, buddy. All right, sayonara.